Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. Today is Monday, the 29th day of January. It is Curmudgeon's Day. Do you know any curmudgeons?
I don't believe so. What is a curmudgeon?
It's just like somebody that's crotchety and cranky and just not very
Okay.
happy. Oh, curmudgeon. Free Thinkers Day today as well. And by the way, being a free thinker might make you a curmudgeon. Oh, also National Corn Chip Day, National Carnation Day, National Puzzle Day, Seeing Eye Dog Day, and World Automobile Day. All of those things happening today. And I've got two guests joining me for Movie Star Monday, Kim Coates and Lili, and I'm trying to read my handwriting here. Anyway, the two of them are... I apologize. I should have written this a little more legibly. Can you read that?
I can never read your handwriting. It's like a serial killer.
And this is Lili. Anyway, the two of them are in a movie together. It'll be a surprise for all of us. Coming your way here in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Maintaining long-term exercise habits is not an easy thing to do, but here's some good news. Researchers in China say that dancing, being a social and enjoyable exercise, is a good thing, and it's also an ideal solution for people wanting to lose weight. In a series of tests, scientists found that getting a groove on leads to significant improvement in body mass, waist circumference, and body fat in those who are overweight or obese. Additionally, they found that dancing enhances blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, physical fitness, cognitive functions, and mental health, and can also aid in managing health conditions like diabetes, gallstones, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease.
I agree with that completely,
It's good for
and I love that.
Yeah, dancing
we
is
should
good
take
for
up
many
ballroom
things
dancing.
other than sore knees and sore feet. Probably not so great for those things. If you'd like to read all those details, I do have them. They're in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know that Stanley Cups are all the rage these days? We're not talking about...
I've seen this.
Not talking about the hockey trophy. We're talking about...
What is up with that?
The company. Their Quencher tumblers are selling out in minutes, causing frenzies at supermarkets. California woman was not interested in paying up to $60 for her cup, so she was arrested. 23-year-old woman when she stole 65. Yeah, $2,500 worth of cups. Cops learned of the alleged theft after staff at a nearby store saw a woman take a shopping cart full of Stanley water balls out without paying for them, and she refused to stop for staff when she was stuffing her car with all the stolen merch. They spotted the vehicle and the woman, who was not named in the story here. It says she was not named, but I'm assuming her parents named her. They just didn't put it in the story. They're all the rage, but we strongly advise against turning to crime to fulfill your hydration habits. I think it's a horrible idea to steal a cup, and I'm assuming she was going to try to sell these.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nobody needs, that many 65 cups for themselves. I don't know. Don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Not one, but two stories about Ryan Gosling. He got an Oscar nomination for his role in Barbie, but Margot Robbie was left out in the cold.
Yeah, I saw that.
Academy Award nominees announced this week, and that's the thing that has been brought up the most, that Ken was nominated, that Barbie was not.
Yeah, it's
I don't know why.
a sexist thing.
Well, I haven't seen the show, so I have no idea. But I will say this. I do love Margot Robbie. We were just talking about another
very
movie she was in. The program, the 96th Annual Academy Awards, held on March 10th, hosted by James Kimmel. Well, it's Jimmy Kimmel. And Oliver Stone issued an apology to Ryan Gosling for blasting the actor for playing the role of Ken in the wildly popular Barbie film. So I'm
I
not
saw
sure.
that too. Yeah.
I'm not sure why he was complaining about it or whatever he thought.
He said something like of the dumbing down of Hollywood. He's taking part in the dumbing down of Hollywood. Or
Well,
something.
he added, I found the filmmaker's approach certainly different than what I expected. I apologize for speaking ignorantly. I think that's amazing that he would come out and say, I was wrong. That hardly ever happens. And I think it's a good thing to, when you're wrong, say, yeah, I was wrong. You know how many times I've said that? Well, we've been married 24 years. What? Thousands of times I've been wrong. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. A report says that sleeping more on the weekends can help reduce your risk of heart disease.
See, now I heard getting too much rest on the weekends actually makes it worse.
Too much. I'm not saying too much. It just says sleeping more. So getting a few extra winks, not, the whole weekend. If you
Okay.
sleep all weekend, that's not good for anybody. Especially if, we got plans and I want to go do stuff and I want to go on a date. And you never take me dancing anymore. What are we talking about? Oh, hey, I'm going to just move on to this other story here. Keith Bang Bang McCurdy. First of all, what a nickname.
Okay.
Apparently, he's best known for being like an A-list tattoo artist. People like Rihanna, Justin Bieber, the Biebs, LeBron James. But now he's on a quest to turn tattoos into medical diagnostic devices using a thing called magic ink. A tattoo ink which can be turned on or turned off by being exposed to a certain amount of light. He's joined forces with the professors at the University of Colorado who invented this particular ink. The duo believed that the magic ink would eventually be used to warn people with diabetes about their blood sugar.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or it could
isn't
alert people to slap on sunscreen if they're getting too much sun. The magic ink may also someday allow people to get tattoos that are not so permanent. McCurdy said, you should get a patch of ink and you could change that picture inside your skin. So, or you would get, I don't know what I just said.
Interesting.
But he's basically saying you could get a tattoo.
That will alert you if your blood sugar is changing.
So
That's
all
really
of those
cool.
things
That's
I
a
think are really cool.
Great idea.
Yeah, imagine instead of if you right now have to do, testing, you got to do the shots and you got to do all the stuff, poking yourself and testing. Imagine if you could just look down at your hand.
Exactly, that'd be amazing.
And it said low or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. You can read more. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. Not one, but two guests today, Kim Coates and Lili Simmons, and they're in a movie together. It's called Double Down South. Ladies first, Lili, I have to ask, are you really a good pool player? You're amazing in this film.
No. Wasn't at first.
No, she is brilliant now, but it was a bit of a struggle early, but that's why we cast her. She blows us all away.
Now, I just called it pool, but in the film, it's not pool. What is that game?
It's called Keno.
Now, Keno is similar to like billiards or pool, but what is the difference?
It is on a pool table. You rack the balls like you normally would an 8-ball. But on the other side of the pool table, there is a wooden board with a ramp, and there's a bunch of holes drilled into it, numbered to match the numbers on the balls. Your goal is to gently, and sometimes a little bit more with force, roll a ball into the same numbered hole. But what you really want to get is the middle hole, which is a double, which doubles your bet. And that's how you make the money. I do believe it started in Chicago, Kim, right?
Yeah, that's right, Lily. In the 60s, late 50s, 60s, early 70s, it was a massive game in Chicago. Played in the back pool halls all over the place, and then it went to the South and exploded down there too. It's not played anymore. I don't think it's played anymore, but it's a gambling game like no other. And the fights and the threats and the things that would happen over this game was paramount. And Tom Shulman, who wrote and directed this incredible script, the Oscar winner for Dead Poets Society, he really knew what he was doing. He's had the story in his beautiful little brain for 50 years, he said, and he finally wrote it during COVID. And we filmed it during COVID, and we're just so proud of this movie. And what happens in this film is going to blow your mind. I still get the shakes talking about this 2-hour-long movie that is that Tommy came up with, and what happens is pretty special and dark and beautiful, and it's based on a true story.
I'm excited to see this. And Kim, I got to say, every movie I see you in, you do such a good job, and you're always different characters. So kudos to you, not only on this role, but on all of your movies.
Well, thanks. That means a lot. I was just in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, where I'm from, visiting my 93-year-old mother. And I talked about Double Down South, and she went, do you die in this one, honey? Do you die? And I go, what do you mean, Mom? Well, are you a bad person, honey? And I could say I'm playing a doctor. She'd go, is he an evil doctor? Like I can't win with my mom, and yet she's my biggest fan.
I love that. Now, in this movie, there's like this giant abandoned mansion. Is that a real place?
It is a real place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already pretty beaten down, but our beautiful art department made it even scarier. I mean, wallpaper hanging off the walls, dirt everywhere. I mean, I would watch the art department walk around like hitting dirt onto the curtains to make sure extra grimy. But we basically lived there. I mean, besides sleeping, thankfully, it really, Kim has mentioned, it really felt like we were doing a play. I mean, we had a week of rehearsal before. We didn't bring our phones to set. It's based in the early 90s. We, were so focused, so driven, and we all loved each other. And that's amazing. And that doesn't happen all the time.
And that's right, Lily. And Tom Shulman and his crew had to find the house. They had to find it. And they found it in Madison, Georgia. That's where we filmed most of this movie. And this home, as Lily just said, was bought by a guy and a gal who were gonna, they were gonna reno it. But before they did, Tommy and the film producers went, "Can we have it for 5 weeks?" And they went, "Of course you can." And we did. And I think that house is a character all into itself. I think that house is so freaking frightening and so crazy. I mean, the original title was going to be Southern Gothic, but then Tom and his team thought that might be a little bit too horror driven in the title. So they changed it to a better title, Double Down South, because of the betting element of the Keno game. But the story itself and the rest of the actors, there's 8 of us in this movie that are pretty special to work with. And I'll never forget the experience. And to finally open now everywhere in America, it's a pretty big deal for a nice independent film like this.
I'm so excited to see it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
Again, the film is called Double Down South. Our guests today, Kim Coates and Lili Simmons, they're in the film. I've got a link to the trailer, all the details in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Movie theaters make roughly 85% of their profits at the concession stand.
True story.
Unless it's Heidi, she drags a gigantic purse full of all kinds. She's in there eating a roast beef sandwich, gallon of milk.
Spaghetti.
How about this at the concession stand? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Just as some people talk in their sleep, sign language speakers have been known to sign in their sleep.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
That's pretty cool. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
CDs were created to hold 74 minutes of music. We talked about this one other time. Do you remember why that is? 74 minutes is the duration of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So that's how they chose that weird amount. And one final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In Greece, the country, you can lose your driver's license for being poorly dressed or unbathed.
Ew.
You get pulled over, they're like, no, I don't like it. I'm taking your license. Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. 17% of people agree doing this boosts our creativity. Doing what? What do you think it is?
Reading?
No, listening to music. I agree completely. Listening to music does make me more creative. Unless, of course, I'm trying to write something, then I just start writing what the lyrics are. I'm like, wait a minute. Does that sound familiar to you? Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way courtesy of mintervention.com.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Miller Lite is selling, again, this is just weird. Miller Lite is selling mints for people who miss the taste of beer during dry January.
Oh my gosh.
So this month,
beer-flavored mints.
Yeah, there are people who decided I am not going to drink during the entire month of January, but then they missed the taste of it. So Miller Lite beer mints promise an initial taste of mint, followed by a subtle yet great taste of Miller Lite that leaves consumers' breath feeling fresh and their taste buds hoppy.
Wow.
Mints are $5 in a tin with the beer's iconic logo on the front. So here's my question for you. Really? And that is a question. Really?
That's it?
Really? That's all. I mean, really? All right. I've got a link to that if you want to see it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time now for the list, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Myths about the cold, like this. You lose most of your heat from your head. No, that's actually not true. We say that, but it's not true. It's only 9% of the body area, of your whole entire body area. So if you're wearing a nice warm hat, but no clothes, you'd still be cold. So they're saying you definitely want to wear a hat, but keep everything else covered too. Another myth, to warm up, sip coffee or brandy. No, it'll actually make you warm right away, but then it'll make you cold in the long run. If you go out in the cold, you'll catch a cold. No, you'll actually get a cold from a virus, not from cold temperatures. Rub your fingers or toes to warm them. No, you're supposed to wiggle them instead of rubbing them, because rubbing them, you can actually cause tissue damage. Try to resist shivering. They're like, no, don't do that. Shivering is actually your body's way of warming itself up, so it's a good thing. And finally, if I'm feeling cold, you must be feeling it too. No, everybody is different. My wife over here, she gets cold completely different times than I get cold. There are times that she's got the heat on and I'm freezing cold, and there's time that I have the heat on and she's freezing. So it's not, everybody's different, I guess what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And it made sense the last time we talked about it, too.
I was going to say, this all sounds familiar to me as well. The list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Your quote today comes from Kate Davis, who says, kids are expensive. I didn't even realize how broke I was until last year someone stole my identity and it ruined her life. Kate Davis with our quote today. That is your quote of the day. You can submit those, by the way, at the bottom of the page at johnandheidishow.com. Comes your way each day, courtesy of insurancechicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And I think this is a cool story. It says, he didn't give me a name, but an Amazon driver shoveled the snow for a man in a wheelchair. This was in Ohio. They got a photo of him out the window. An Amazon delivery driver went above and beyond the call of duty when he shoveled some snow-covered driveway for a guy by the name of Don Wheeler. He's been in a wheelchair for 2 decades. Wheeler is not really able to shovel snow. He said shoveling snow is a time-consuming task. It can take hours, if not days, for him because he's in a wheelchair. He shared the struggles of trying to manage this task, especially when on disability. Called a company for assistance. Sometimes they make it there, sometimes they don't. A lot of the time he's, struggling financially to pay a whole lot to get somebody to come over right away. But fate took a warm turn when Wheeler received a message indicating that his package was the next for delivery. Expecting the usual routine, he prepared to meet the driver outside. He was going to roll through the snow to go out. When he got there, the Amazon driver was not only delivering the package, but he also said, "Here, I can help with this," and he shoveled a path for him.
Wow.
He said he didn't give me a name. And he didn't give me the, hey, post this so I can get likes. It was purely from the heart. But he said, I decided to take the photo because he really, really wanted to make sure this person got some attention, despite not knowing who he was. As soon as he posted it, the Good Samaritan was absolutely honored by many people in the community. And the cool thing is there's a video of those two talking after the fact. And I'm trying to see if his name is in the story. I don't see his name. How weird is that? But there is a photo of the two of them together, so they did get a
really
chance.
Great.
Yeah,
always just do things to help people. It's just the right thing to do.
It says, my heart wants to cry with joy. It does mean an awful lot. See, I'm getting emotional about it, Wheeler said. Again, you can see the video and there's photos, all of that in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.